Alright, good morning everyone. Today's webinar's title is Weldment. Today have to be weld. Okay, I'm William from CADVision. So basically this webinars will help for 1 hour. Okay, maybe it will end early. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for joining these webinar sections. And this brilliant presentation is credit to Jeremy from the Dassault Systems. Okay, so let's start with the webinars. So what are the target audience? So Solidworks user who deal with weldments, or in other words, Solidworks user who deal with multi-bodies. So the design of the designs of the weldments are for supporting structures, supporting structure frames, and Solidworks user who use profile extrudes oftenly. Okay. So the topic covers today's are what is weldment in Solidworks, and how do you create the profiles for Solidworks weldment, and how do you create a 3D sketch, creating a frame from profiles and 3D sketch, and manipulating multi-body parts, and how do you generate cut lists and bill of materials for multi-bodies or weldment. So what I'm not going to do is hands-on in SolidWorks. So basically put in step-by-steps in my presentations, so we can read through it and we can go through it, and at the end of the day you can try it out in your own SolidWorks. So what is weldment in SolidWorks? So weldment is basically a unique tools. Specialist, if you notice it, is on the tabs, on one of the tabs in the task panel. Okay, is one of the unique tools for designing structural frames. So once the structural member or the weldments command is on, all your modelings will automatically goes into multi-body parts, and you will notice that the merge results, the merge bodies icons will be unchecked. So multi-body parts is very similar to assemblies, but of course with some limitations. So the good things about multi-body parts is that there are no files to manage. There's only one file, one multi-body files in the parts file environment. It's not like the assemblies where you have to manage and you have to control all the components. So and the best things here is starting from 2010, multi-bodies started to support by SolidWorks Enterprise PDM, so that in the Enterprise PDMs you can, in SolidWorks Enterprise PDMs you can come up with the BOM and the cut list. So the limitations here is that the movements of the multi-body parts are limited. Okay, you are unable to look at the motions of each of the parts. Okay, the only way to do that is by body move or copy bodies, or you simply need to put it into assemblies. But we are not, of course, your multi-body you can convert it into assemblies, but I'm not going to touch about that today. So how do you know that your parts is in a multi-bodies environment? So the easiest things is to check on your design tree. Okay, if you notice these symbols, this little icon, weldment little icons, is on your design tree, and means that you are in a weldment environment. Okay, so what about the cut list? Okay, this cut list is a unique, I would say it's a unique BOM materials with customs properties. Okay, the properties is made by the SolidWorks itself together with the length, width, and height. And of course, you can always customize this bill of materials, this cut list, as you customize in the bill of materials in the assemblies. So basically, this is the frames that I'm going to use. This is examples of the frame that I'm going to use throughout the presentations. Okay, and okay, this is the examples of the cut list. Okay, it's basically the same as the bill of materials. Okay, but it will shows you some additional information, which is pre-custom made in SolidWorks Weldment. So you have, let us start with the examples of creating a frame. So first of all, of course, you need to have your profiles. And most of the times, we are getting these profiles from our suppliers. So where can you find a profiles? Okay, it's simple. You can always go to the 3D content centers of SolidWorks on your right hand side, task pane, and in there you can click to 3D content centers and you can download all the standards profile there. But aluminium profile is very unique, and of course it is not included in the SolidWorks standards profile, but you can search for it in the supplier content in 3D content center. But of course it comes as a part. Okay, it doesn't come as a profile, as a 2D sketch. So what we are going to do, we are going to do some of the reverse engineering, where we are going to, from the parts, we are going to get rid of the features and save only the profiles for our usage in Weldment. So how do you do that? Of course, we know that the profile are always a 2D sketch. It's not a 3D model. So in order to do that, we are going to get rid of the features. Okay. Once you download the files, you can always right-click on your design tree and delete away your extrude features. So, and then it will give you these profiles, these weight profiles. Okay. So you will see a lot of relationships and a lot of dimensions here. In most of the cases, we don't want all these. We will not want all these dimensions and all these relations, because the more dimensions and the more relations you put in, it will actually slow down the interface of your SolidWorks. Okay, so if you are not going to modify your profiles again and again, you are going to use this profile for throughout the time. So what you can do is you can remove those unnecessary details, such as the dimensions and the relations. So how do you do that? You can right-click on your workspace and click to delete, display and delete relations. Okay, or you can search it in your ribbons up there. So once you call out, okay, you can delete away all display dimensions, all relationships there. And then the next thing will be removing those details, such as the fillets that you don't want. And the next things will be fixing all those lines together and merging each of the points together. And at the end of the day, you will have a profile on your right hand side. Okay. So fix it and lock it. Okay. So so that at the end of the day, you will get, as I mentioned earlier, you will get the profile on your right hand side. And the ways of doing this is by using the relationship of fix. So you will notice that it's not that much of relations compared to the first profiles on your left. So next, this is what I say, removing all the fillets and then joining each of the points together, okay, to get your final profiles. Okay, well, you can clean it up with trims, okay, clean or extend each of the points so that it joins together. So remember to put in the center line, because all these little points will be the reference point for you to locate your profile. Okay, we will talk about that later when we go to the models of the Weldment. So the next things will be, how do you save it as a Weldment profile? Weldment profile is actually a library features. It's a library features file. So first of all, you pre-select the sketch. Okay, pre-select the sketch, and then in your design libraries, there is a little icon called the Add to Libraries. Okay, Once you click on this, on your left-hand side, you will have the properties. Okay, select the folders that you want to save these library features, these Weldment profiles into it, and select the files types to library features part. Okay, once done, just click save, and it will save to the folders in your library features. Of course, if you are going to use this for most of the time, you want it to come up in the Weldment profiles. You can always go to your options, file locations, and then put it in as your Weldment profiles. Okay, there is a custom Weldment profiles where you can add in so that it comes up in your Weldment properties. So once we have done with the profiles, the next thing will be the frame. In this case, we are going to do a simple frame. What we are going to do, we are going to put in we are going to draw a simple square, a tube, rectangular tube like a frame. Okay, so we're going to use the sketch. Okay, of course you can always use plane to create the sketch by piercing each of the point and the line together. But 3D sketch will be much more easier because you are going to do that all in one features in the design tree. So 3D sketch has more relationship compared to the 2D sketch because in 2D sketch you only consider in two coordinate or two directions, but in 3D sketch you need to consider three, which is X, Y, and Z directions. So 3D sketch might seem to be very complicated or complex at first, but once you have enough practice, once you have deal with lots of 3D sketch, well, it's not actually challenging. So just be aware, and the big tips here is to aware of the X, Y, Z coordinates on your very left corners of Solidworks. Okay, just be aware of that and use the 3D sketch plane. So how do you call out these 3D sketch planes? It's rather simple. Okay, once you have started with a 3D sketch, you just need to double click on one of the flat plane. Okay, it will come out this 2D sketch plane. So this 3D sketch plane is actually it works the same as the 2D sketch. Okay, it's like you are doing a 2D sketch in a 3D sketch environment. Okay, it's kind of complex, but I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, so we always want to make it simple in a 3D sketch. Okay, so utilize 3D sketch plane, 3D planes to help you to orient yourself, and use the tab keys. Okay, use the tab keys to toggle around X, Y directions, Y, Z direction, and X, Z directions. Okay, once you click on the tab keys, so you will see these little triads. Okay, these little triads on the point, on your starting point, and this simply means that you are drawing it as a guideline for you to draw along this plane. Okay, this X, let's say the X-Z plane. Okay, now play around with it in your Solidworks, and believe me, you will learn very fast. Okay, you will not have any difficulties of doing this. Okay, if you have enough practice. So the relationships in the 3D sketch mode will not be horizontal or vertical anymore. Well, it is along X, along Y, or along Z, since we have in 3 directions. Okay. So the next thing will be to simplify your process. Well, you don't have to snap all these points. You don't have to snap all these points at the first. Okay, all you need to do is just draw a basic frame, just like you do in the 2D sketch. So the next thing will be clicking on 2 points and then join and adding a coincidence relations to it, or you just simply drag on each of the point and then snap to the point that you want. Okay, so it's just drag and snap it to the point. So of course you can add in dimensions to make it fully defined. Okay. So the next things use your dimensions, use your relationship wisely, and to clean up your sketch. So in my case, I will add another 2 cross member, okay, and then use the midpoint for the symmetrical relationship. okay, to fully define my 3D sketch. So once I've done with this, now we go into the actual weldment. Okay, we go into the actual weldments where we are going to add in structural members in our weldment, in our 3D profile. Okay, earlier we already prepared the profile and then we prepared the 3D sketch for frame. So now we go into the weldment tab. Okay, just click on the structural members icon and then click on the path or the frame edge where you want to add in the profiles or you want to add in your structural frame. So you will have these selections properties. Okay, the standards will be the standard profiles, the standard types that you want. Okay, you can always customize it as your company standards. Okay, you can just type in your name and then as what I mentioned earlier, go to your file locations and then add in into your weldment profile so that you can use it. So the type, okay, either it is a C channels, either it's an L channel, it's an angle channels, or it's an I-beam, anything that you want. And then the size of it, okay. So next we'll be clicking on the frame, and then you will prompt you. It will prompt you, if you zoom into it, it will prompt you this particular profile. Okay, you will look at the profile and a preview of the frame. So you can rotate it, okay, accordingly. You can rotate it accordingly to fit to the positions or the orientation that you want, and and then click on the locate profile. And remember all the edges and all the points that we have in the earlier slide. Okay, those points are used for locating your profile. Okay, you can add additional points in your profiles, provided you save it later on, and then you can use those points to locate your profiles according to what you want. So, and then in Solidworks, if you are using the same groups, I mean, in one weldment, you can only use one type of size. If you are going to use different types of size, you will have to click on the structural members again. So the groups will determine the directions. Let's say the groups is actually basically working in one plane. So what you have here is that this will be one group, okay, and this will be one group. These 4 verticals frame will be one group, and this will be another group. All right. So in the options, we will have in the properties, we will have a corner treatment at the bottoms. But once you click on that, it will change only. It might change only one corner of it to your desired output. But don't worry about that. If you notice this connection pin, this weldment point, you can always click on each of the weldment point and it will come up a little windows as this, okay, called the corner treatment. Okay, you can select of this to get your desired outcome of joining. Okay, so if you are inserting different size of frames, okay, it will not trim automatically. Okay, if you are using the same sections in the same weldment features, and it will trim automatically. Okay, it will trim automatically to your other bin. But if you are using this in another's a different size, it will not trim properly. It will not trim automatically. So what you can do, you can always do the manual trim. Okay, either you can trim to the face or plane, or you can trim to each of the bodies. So the interface will be something like the bottom. Okay, so you are able to choose which body to discard and which body to keep. Okay, and check on the allow extensions. Okay, you already have a preview here. So of course, if you click on it and you zoom in close enough, you will able to see the extensions of each of the frame. Okay, but of course, depending on you, some people might not want it to be like this. You want it to be in this way. So you have the options to choose between them. Okay, so a little bit of notes here. So once we have done with our frames, of course, for example, in assemblies you have insert parts. Okay, in multi-body parts in weldment you have the abilities to insert parts too, but the matings and the abilities to mate between these parts and the basic frame, the outer frames of the whole weldment. Well, the thing's difference here is that because we are not going to draw, for example, these parts, this cassette, we are not going to draw this again. Okay, we are not going to draw this again, but we can simply just drag and drop into our bodies and then make it properly. Okay, how do we call this as derived parts, of course, for your information. So you can insert it into design libraries, and when you insert the parts, it will prompt you properties on your left hand side. So, and we will have the options to choose what are the things that you want to transfer. Of course, solid bodies will be your main concerns. Okay, your main priorities to put in. Surface body, you might need it, you might not need it. Okay, the axis, the plane, cosmetic threads, and custom properties until the coordinate systems. So what I always do is that I always check on the solid bodies, I always check on plane, I always check on the coordinate systems and custom properties, so that it is easier for me as a reference for me to meet between parts and these derived parts. So let's look at this model on your right hand side. Okay, once you insert the derived parts, what you get is these small little parts. Okay, so I have inserted this part together with 3 planes. Okay, the top, front, and the right plane. And then if you inserted a coordinate systems, if I check on the coordinate system, if you have any coordinate system in the derived parts, it will show also. So the next thing will be repositioning it into this particular corner of it. So we can actually mate it together. Okay, we can actually mate it together to the positions properly, just like in your assemblies, but with some additional steps. Okay, so then it will have this mate reference. Okay, mate reference on the properties of your part. Okay, if this doesn't come up, you can always customize it in your you can right click it and customize your design trees. Okay, to show all these things out. Okay, if it does not, you can always go back to your features and you will notice all these matings here. Okay, so of course, same as the assemblies, you are not going to insert each of the parts. You're not going to insert each of the components again and again. It will consume a lot of time. So what you can do is that you can mirror the bodies. You can mirror bodies in your frames. Okay, I'm going to mirror 2 times. Okay, to the sides, and then mirrors again on the front plane to the another side to create 4 parts on the frame. Okay, so next, you can add additional features to your bodies, and once you're in the multi-body mode, you will have the selection scopes on the very bottoms of your properties on your left. So in that, you will notice that you have the options to select all bodies, and you have the options to select particular bodies. Okay, in the selection scope, but it will, by default, it will auto select. It will auto select what to cut. In some cases, you will not want that to be, because auto selects, it might select some things that you don't want. Okay, for example, if I want to do a hose on particular these bodies, these are particular new extrude only, but not the frame. So what I can do, I can click on the selection scope and click only this body to cut. Okay, if you select all, of course, it will cut through everything. If you select scope and select this for the particular body only, it will show that. Okay, you can try this out later in your Solidworks with Weldments. Okay, once you have done with the models, of course, we are going to document our drawings. We are going to document our multi-part. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, CADList is a unique tables. It's a unique BOM tables with its own properties, with its own unique properties. So once you have done with this, you will have this in your design tree, CADList. This CADList in your design tree. What you can do, you can just simply right click on the CADList and then click on update, and it will group all the structure member with the same size into one icon, and then you can rename this accordingly. You can rename this accordingly to their size for your own reference. And some additional parts, you can always right click and then create sub-weldment folders there. Okay, you can put that in together. Okay, so next thing, in the CADList, you can right click and you can check on the properties. You can click on the properties and you can customize it. Okay, you can customize each of these with the with additional custom properties that you want. Okay, but by default it will have the length. It will have the length for you. Okay, it will have the length for you. So you can customize it. You can add in your materials. You can add in your parts number or any descriptions that you want into your multi-bodies. It serves the same as your assemblies and your component. So it's the same old procedures as how do you put in your parts into your drawing. Okay, simply click on the drawing padlets on your right hand side, or you can just insert drawings or insert model views into your drawing. Okay, so what I like to do is click on the drawing view and then just drag and drop into my drawing. Okay, so once I have all these parts, I have all these drawing views. So the next thing will be calling out the CADList. Okay, the Weldment CADList, or you can name it as your BOM for multi-body parts. Okay, BOM is for assemblies, CADList is for multi-body parts. Okay, it's the same. You will have these tables, the item names, the vendors. If you add in the parts numbers, or you can even right click and add in custom columns here. Okay, whatever you want, you can customize it yourself, just like in the assemblies. So call out it, and of course you can call out the balloons. You can call out the balloons for each of the parts. You call the balloons for each of the parts so that you know which one are it referring to. Okay. So what about these 4 little derived parts that I add in? Okay, it is blocked by the top plate, the top plates. Okay, it blocks by the top plates. So I know that it is there, but I also want to look at the details of it. So what you can do, you can click on in the annotations. In the views, you can click on the relative view. It doesn't comes out. Okay, always use the command search options in your Solidworks. Okay, which is a very useful tool. Okay, just click on the relative views and look for this icon. Okay, and then zoom. Once you click on this, it will bring you to the part. It will bring you to the parts. Okay, parts level, and then zoom into the portions that zoom into that part. Okay, click on that particular part, and you will have these properties. Okay, these selection properties on your left hand side. Okay, it will ask you to select for 2 planes. Okay, so in my case, I will select front plate or maybe the top plate for this body face. Okay, and use the bottom plane for this plate. Of course, if you are unable to search it, unable to click on that particular surface or particular plane, particular face that you want, always right click and select others. Okay, use the select others options to select what you want. Okay, it doesn't need to hide. It does not need to hide this particular flat plate in order for you to select this surface. Okay, you can always use the right click and then use the select other options. So, and it will come out it will come out as an different drawing views in your drawing templates, because you can customize the size of this, you can customize the view of this according to what you want. Okay, so that will be the last slide. Okay, so a little bit summaries. Okay, we know what is weldment. Weldment is basically to create a structural member frame, or structural members in Solidworks. And if you check on the weldment, and you will automatically bring you into a multi-bodies. Okay, you will notice that the merge result is automatically unchecked. Okay, and how do you get the profiles? You can always get it from the 3D content centers. Okay, you can either search for standard profiles, or you can either search for the suppliers in the supplier list. Okay, once you are done with this, you will have to create your own your frame outline. Okay, your frame outlines it's always good to use the 3D sketch. Okay, practice more on the 3D sketch, and you will know it will be fun. Okay, it will be easy, and then once you have all of these done, once you have the profiles and the structural frame done, you go for the weldment structural member. Click on the structural member and select the profiles. You select all the path of it and select the correct profiles. The next thing will be use the corner treatments. Use the corner treatments to select to make your each edge to have the correct outputs. And then if there are any intercepting structure with each other, use the manual trim. Okay, use the manual trim to trim them together. You can select which body to discard or which body to keep. So the next thing will be updating your cut list. Okay, updating your cut list. Once you have updated your cut list, and it will group all the same size multi-body parts together. Okay, and then right click to properties and check on what you have inside. Okay, customize your properties, customize your parts properties, customize your multi-parts properties. Okay, or in other words, customize your cut list. So we have prepared all of these, all of those, and we are done. Then we will go into the drawing view, and then drag in your drawing view and call out the cut list, customize your cut list, and then put in auto balloons, put in balloons to show which of the parts belongs to which column, which row of informations. And then if there are any hidden parts, you can always click on the relative views to call out these hidden parts. Okay, and this relative view will serve the same as the drawing view, where you can configure the size, the scaling of it, and the display view of it. Alright, so that's it for my webinars. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. Okay, I will reply accordingly. So, or you prefer to call me personally. Alright, no problem. So stay tuned to our website and stay tuned to our blogs. Okay, I will upload an article about this soon, maybe next week, and you can also download the slides for this in our website, www.CADVision.com. Alright, thank you for your attendance. So hope to see you again. Hope to see you again next time. Alright, so jot down my emails if you have any questions. So I will end this section now. Thank you very much.